Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So in this one, I kind of wanted to switch it up a little bit and talk about some draft prospects. Guys that I feel like the Jets could be targeting. At the end of the day, yes, the Jets do have some awesome young pieces to build around, some building blocks for the future, but we're still a rebuilding team. This roster has holes all over the place. We still have a bunch of weak spots. So, and by the way, the Jets have 2 1s, 2 2s. We have tons of draft picks this upcoming offseason, and it's going to be so much fun. So let's not waste any more time. Here we go. Let's hop right in. 5 draft targets for the New York Jets. So we cannot make a draft video without talking about the first player on this list. It's Kayvon Thibodeaux, the consensus best player in this upcoming draft. Defensive end from Oregon. Now let's just cut right to the chase. In order to draft a Kayvon Thibodeaux, you probably have to finish as a bottom 3 team in the league. In other words, have a top 3 draft pick. We take a look at the landscape of the NFL right now. Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars, New York Jets, Atlanta Falcons. All those teams are kind of Houston Texans. All those teams are kind of clustered up in the top 5, top 6, or I guess the bottom 5, bottom 6, however you want to look at it. But let's just assume that the Jets are in a position to draft the Kayvon Thibodeaux this April. I mean, he is definitely going to be in consideration. And look, you take a look at the Jets pass rushing unit right now. We've done a pretty good job so far, and remember, no Vinny Curry, no Carl Lawson. We're down a couple guys at the defensive end position, and yet we are still getting in the backfield. But I feel like when we take a look at Kayvon Thibodeaux, he truly provides the New York Jets with that Nick Bosa style of talent, that Joey Bosa style of talent. At 6'5", 260 pounds, Kayvon Thibodeaux truly looks like the best player on the football field at all times. At all times. I mean, he was the #1 high school recruit for a reason. He has great speed, great power. But to me, the 2 things that just pop off the screen when I'm watching Kayvon: length and explosion. I mean, his get off, his burst off of the line of scrimmage is insane. It is insane. And then, of course, we have to factor in the size and the speed. But overall, man, Kayvon Thibodeaux has not disappointed. He came into Oregon as a 5-star guy, tons of height, so much pressure on his shoulders, and he has lived up to it. Bottom line, he has lived up to it. Now, of course, the stats might not be too incredible. In 22 games, he's had 85 tackles, 13 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 25.5 tackles for loss. Obviously, not dominant, Heisman style of stats, but and we talked about Nick Bosa before, not so much the play style, but Kayvon Thibodeaux's career at Oregon reminds me of Nick Bosa a little bit because, although the stats might say, hey, he's not, getting in the backfield every single snap, bringing down the quarterbacks left and right, 20 sacks, insane numbers. Nick Bosa had 4.5 sacks the year he was drafted 2nd overall by Robert Saleh, of course. The year before that, under 10 sacks. Kayvon Thibodeaux, kind of the same story. The stats are not blowing anybody out of the water, but when you watch Kayvon Thibodeaux, the potential is through the roof. Now we add Carl Lawson back to the roster, Kayvon Thibodeaux to this roster. It could be absolutely mind-blowing. Definitely has the potential to be the best defensive line in football within 2 years. So Kayvon Thibodeaux, yes, we have to be in other words, we have to be a horrible team to draft Kayvon, right? A bottom 3 team in the league. But man, if the Jets get their hands on Kayvon, it could be a nightmare for quarterbacks in the AFC East. So the second player on this list has actually been one of my favorite players to watch this season. It's guard from Texas A&M, Kenyon Green. At 6'4", 325, Kenyon Green is just nasty. He is violent. He plays so low to the ground. He's dominant in the run game, has tons of production this season. Texas A&M actually has one of the better offensive lines in college football. A big part of that is because of Green, and I definitely see Green as a first-round pick this upcoming season. I mean, you take a look at the Jets' struggles on the interior. Greg Van Roten, not getting it done. Connor McGovern at center, also not getting it done. Okay, Elijah Vera Tucker at left guard. There's been some good, there's been some bad, but he's a rookie. He's learning his way. I am completely fine with how AVTs look so far. So the center and the right guard position need to be fixed this offseason, especially when we're taking a look at Mike LaFleur's offense, an offense that really prides itself on running the football effectively, a zone blocking attack. Kenyon Green is super athletic. He moves really well in space. He can pull. He can get to the second level and take on linebackers effectively. I really feel like Kenyon Green will be in consideration for the New York Jets this upcoming April. Next up, player number 3, safety from Notre Dame. We're flipping it back over to the defensive side of the football here, Kyle Hamilton. At 6'4", 220, Kyle Hamilton is seriously one of the best players in college football, and I definitely see him as a first half, first round type of guy. I mean, he has size and speed, of course, but really the main trait for me is his overall range. This guy is a true ball hawk, but he can also make plays close up to the line of scrimmage. We take a look at the safety position right now for the Jets. I think next season, this offseason, we're going to have our work cut out for us. Right now, the future of Marcus Maye in New York is looking bleak. He's currently on the franchise tag. He's currently hurt. We have the agent tweeting stuff about him, being traded at the deadline. It does not look like Marcus Maye has a future in New York, as sad as it sounds. I mean, I want Marcus Maye back. I'm a huge Maye guy, but at this point in time, I'm not going to kid myself. It looks like Marcus Maye will end up elsewhere at some point in time, whether it's after the season or at the trade deadline. Our other starting safety, LaMarcus Joyner, who signed a 1-year contract, is hurt and he's out for the year. Okay, so that leaves us with guys like Ashton Davis, Colbert, just a lot of youth overall. I feel like Kyle Hamilton could immediately come in and start, immediately come in and be a day one impact guy. I mean, I feel like right now Kyle Hamilton can step in and start for tons of teams out there, let alone the Jets, who are in desperate need of a safety. So I feel like looking at Hamilton's skill set, looking at the team need, also looking at how Robert Saleh and Ulbrich like to develop the younger DBs, I feel like this could be a match made in heaven. The only drawback, I guess you could say, is that the Jets haven't really had the best of luck drafting defensive backs early within the draft. D. Milliner, Kyle Wilson, of course, Jamal Adams was a great player, but he's no longer on the team, and it looks like Marcus Maye, a second-round pick, is probably not going to be with this team for too much longer. So, really the only drawback is, of course, like the media headlines and all that, all the storylines that go into that, but who even cares? Kyle Hamilton's a fantastic player, and I would love to have him. So the fourth player on this list is center from Iowa, Tyler Linderbaum. At 6'3", 290, Linderbaum definitely has more of a stockier build. He plays low to the ground, and he's also really athletic, much like Kenyon Green, the guard from A&M. But Linderbaum, man, because he's so athletic, because he has so much power and explosiveness in such a stocky frame, when he goes out and attacks defensive linemen in space, it's like getting hit with a missile, getting hit with a torpedo. I mean, Linderbaum, former wrestler, has a ton of production for the Hawkeyes. He's a great system fit because he can move, he can get to the second level, again, much like Green. But all in all, if Linderbaum is there in the first round, maybe not with the first round pick, like the Jets originally, the original Jet first round pick, but the Seahawks one, I'm assuming it's probably going to be late teens in the 20s, unless the Seahawks win the Super Bowl or something like that, which is a possibility. But maybe as that second first-round pick, Linderbaum could be the guy. You take a look at Connor McGovern, and really this interior offensive line, we talked about it before, it needs work, it needs help, it needs talent. Okay, so not only would Linderbaum come in and hopefully be an upgrade over McGovern year one, but you're also pairing Linderbaum up with Zach Wilson, a guy going into year two. So now all of a sudden you could potentially have your left tackle of the future in Becton, your left guard AVT, Linderbaum at center, and Zach Wilson. I mean, you have your core, you have, 3/5 of the offensive line and your starting quarterback for the next 10 seasons. So I personally would love to draft Linderbaum. Man, he could just change direction so effortlessly, so quickly. It's crazy. And then, of course, another added benefit, if we do part ways with Connor McGovern, he's one of the highest paid centers in the league. Okay, so obviously the financial part of his deal is not matching up. It doesn't mirror his production. Okay, so we could part ways with McGovern, save some money, and move forward with a young talented center, teaming him up next to Zach Wilson. And last but not least, the consensus best offensive lineman in the draft class so far, Evan Neal from Alabama. Coming in at 6'7", 350 pounds, Evan Neal just provides an offensive line with so many different things. He's that good. So much production in the run game. He is obviously size and power. The guy is just a beast. He's a mammoth out there. One of his underrated traits is his versatility. You look at what he did year one. By the way, he's a 3-year starter for the Tide, or so far. Of course, I know we're midway through his third year, but 3-year starter. His first season, he was at guard. the starting left guard for the entire 2019 season. The following year, 2020, he moves over to right tackle, and the guy's absolutely dominant. Okay, puts up another great season. This year, he has 4 starts at left tackle. Okay, so you could truly move this guy all around the offensive line wherever you really need him. And to be 100% honest with you, I feel like he's going to Jacksonville. I mean, you have to protect Trevor Lawrence, and I feel like Neal will be the first offensive lineman off the board, whether he's the first pick in the draft, second, third, fourth. I feel like Neal will end up in Jacksonville one way or another, but hey, if the Jets are in front of Jacksonville, I think Neal should be in consideration. Another aspect of Evan's game that I feel like kind of goes unnoticed is his ability to move across the formation. You would think, at 6'7", 350, this guy has a ton of power, obviously can stonewall a lot of defensive ends out there, but probably not the best in open field, probably not the most quick or agile guy in the world. But that's not the case. Evan Neal can really, pick it up and move. When he wants to move, he can move. So Evan Neal, so many things to like there. Definitely at this point in time, the best offensive lineman in the draft. And if he's on the board by the time the New York Jets are picking, I would not be upset. I would not be disappointed in the least. Evan Neal is that good. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Who are some draft prospects that you're personally watching out for, that you're watching on a week-to-week basis, and that you're impressed by? Also, I wanted to make this a little series. Okay, so this is going to be episode 1. Episode 2 will come out at some point in the near future. I wanted to watch some more tape on some college players, and I'll also see how the New York Jets kind of progress throughout the season, because if we string along 3-4 wins and all of a sudden the Jets are going from picking top 5 to maybe in that 10 to 20 range. Okay, so a lot of moving parts, a lot of things that aren't set in stone. But we're going to be covering a lot of different guys here, talking about guys in rounds 2, rounds 3, so it should be a lot of fun. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, go Jets.